Hey, produce people, welcome back to the Produce Industry Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Kelly, also known as Lil Citrus, coming to you live from Nashville, Tennessee. Everyone, that's right, for the Southeast Produce Council's Southern Innovations Conference 2024. You can hear in the background, there's people just commencing in conversation, seeing relationships they haven't seen in a long time, maybe months, maybe even a year. I heard on the floor, hey, haven't seen you since last conference. This is what it's about, bringing the community together, everyone. And shout out, we have a new sponsor, everyone. We always love to shout out to our sponsors, Zag Technological Services, representing internet security and a lot of other IT work for the produce and supply chain industry. So shout out to Zag. As we are approaching fourth quarter, there is so much still to do for the produce and supply chain industry because guess why? Produce doesn't sleep. Seasons always change, and there's always fresh produce being picked for the department. So everyone, let's go ahead and get the SCPC Southern Innovations episode started. And we have the pleasure of the board of directors, the man himself, his second time on the podcast, Tim Graas from AWG.
Hey, good afternoon, Patrick.
Hey, man, how are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Great to have you back.
Thanks for having me.
Listen,
Love doing it.
Before you came on, you were like, man, you're getting kind of high tech with all this.
Yeah, the equipment's incredible.
Well, I think it's for the industry.
Yeah.
And we want to represent the industry in the way that we represent our produce.
Right. And definitely
Right.
appreciate having you as a voice out there for a lot of different people.
And I appreciate that. And it's funny because when we even bring products on and people we don't know, the goal is to engage and show people what's out there.
Right.
Right. Show people, educate them on, again, new grape varieties or, some of the items of asparagus you might only see in Publix or like AWG because of geographical locations, right?
Right. And the education and just raising awareness, a lot of the industry issues that are out there is really important because there's a lot of stuff that we got to talk about as an industry to fix.
Yes.
And get better
is
at.
Key.
Education is the main key of the whole thing.
Yeah. Buddy told me, I'm like a boomer at heart, right? But I still am a millennial, right? Millennial on the surface, but I got that like baby boomer at heart. My friend told me, we were hanging out and he's probably about 70 or so now. And this is probably 10 years ago. And he goes, the day you stop learning is the day you grow old.
Yes.
Right?
That's very true.
So, because if you keep learning, you're going to keep moving into the direction of not what everybody else is doing, but at least in a direction of change.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah,
So
you got to challenge yourself every day and to learn something new every day. And in this industry, as you know, it's ever changing. Every day's a new challenge.
Always. Well, let's talk about that because
absolutely.
We just had the education sessions, everyone, and it was amazing with Anne Marie as always. Why don't you start off and we can talk a little bit about it?
Well, one of the things that we did last year at this show last year, and we did it again this year. We brought Anne Marie in, talked about what's new in the industry. But this year we did it from a 360-degree view. So all the way from the field to the consumer, as well as the grower, shipper, packer perspective.
Right.
So we got surveys from all kinds of different people. I don't remember the number, but there was, I think, over 1,000.
I believe it. Yeah. Looking at the beginning, it was like 1,600 or so people.
Yeah, that's right.
She had it at the beginning of the presentation.
Yeah. And so one of the things, the planet, people, and produce, and it really gets back into the sustainability discussion that's been going on for years and years and years. And when I was chairman a couple years ago, well, last year, I guess, my platform was sustainability and what's going to happen in the year 2050. We're going to have 10 billion people on this planet, and we're not going to have enough food to feed them all. So what do we do? So regenerative ag and all of that stuff is still on the table, still very, very important. Water conservation, et cetera, et cetera. But what we found in the survey here today is that it's kind of morphed into something else because of kind of the way the economy is today. People are trying to stretch their dollars. So sustainability has also become how does a consumer get the produce, get it home, and make it last longer at home, and and reducing food waste, which is sustainability, and making their dollar stretch a little bit further. So that was a big, big piece of it today. Yeah,
and one of the things and I was told in my group that I'm not the norm because, how I buy produce and how I consume produce is a lot different than probably others. We're probably going through 8 to 12 pounds of apples in a week because my son's he kills apples. Right?
Yeah,
like he is an apple slayer. Everyone, okay, like he is the apple slayer. Okay, and I really don't look at price. And we were talking about in the education session about how do you get people to go back and buy consistently with a brand. Well, I know I do, right? And it's not even it's a lifestyle, and that's what it is because. What your lifestyle would change when you decide to change it, right?
Right.
And I said it is because I saw are people shopping because they know it's healthy? Are people shopping because it tastes good, right? All the above,
right?
But it's also a lifestyle, and if you know that your asparagus or your mandarins, right? If you know about it and you know the brand, you're getting the education like we're talking about on this side. That'll help. And then guess what? How does that help at home? You're probably wondering what are you talking about? Well, the rotation in your fridge.
Yeah.
That's what's key about it because a lot of times food goes to waste because it's the rotation in your fridge. And if you consistently love the product like this asparagus, for instance, we'll talk about it. It takes just as long for me to go and look for 5 minutes in the cabinet of what to eat, right? Then you grab a snack and you eat it and you're still hungry. And then you go back again. Or I can cook the asparagus at lunchtime. It takes 10 minutes to fry it up with some, olive oil and even some just an adobo seasoning, right?
Yeah.
And it's the perfect game time snack during the day.
And it's healthy.
Right. And see, I don't even think of it like that. I think about what's it going to make me? Am I going to feel good?
Right.
Right. And does it taste good?
Right. One of the things she said this morning, which kind of surprised me, I think the number was 17, and that's the number of produce items a normal person buys over the course of the year. Only 17 different items.
I buy way more than that.
And there's
3,000 or something, whatever there is.
400 or 500 fresh produce items available in any produce department at any given time.
Yeah, come on.
It's kind of mind-boggling in a way.
But it's true because sometimes I do videos in the stores and I see okra or see some and I'm like, how am I going to do a video on that? It's hard. So and it's I'm not buying okra right now, but you know what I mean? So I agree because 17 items, those are staple items. I guarantee you we could list those staple items.
Yeah, it's the top 17, the 80-20 rule. It's the 20% of the items that make up 80% of the
100%, right? And what you purchase on the others, the proteins, the grocery will determine what you purchase in produce.
Yeah.
There's too many P's going on, everyone. You got the PPP going on.
Planet, people, and produce.
Yep, with the produce picks. All right, what else we got?
Packaging is still highly important to the average consumer.
Yes, okay. But is it to our industry?
It is. And it's kind of a double-edged sword.
It is. Because listen, Severin is a sponsor of ours, and I get to see the process of plastic. And it's incredible what companies like Severin is doing because they're leading the force of supplying traffic of supplying plastic. So they have to do what's right to fight the waste of it.
Yep.
And I see the process. And I'm like, I get it, but I can't sell a retailer for my life to buy this stuff or give me a higher price. Yeah. How do we do that?
That's the ultimate question. That's the hard thing. And then
why
equating sustainability into plastic and plastic use and waste?
It's a tough one, man.
Yeah, it's.
And really I know you don't have the answer, but that's the key that all of us are talking about behind the scenes.
Yep, everybody's trying to figure that out and making sure that PLU labels are recyclable. Even
oh my gosh, yes,
that's even hard. So a lot of really good information today. Packaging is still very, very important to the consumer. Sustainability, and 88% now of consumers want to know where their produce is from.
100%.
Who grew it? Where it came from, what's the company like? So we're seeing much more prevalent use of QR codes.
I like that.
That will take the consumer with a link to whoever grew it.
I love it.
Local farmers, whoever. Even Meet the Farmers is still very popular in the stores. Bringing in, if you have local produce during the summer or whatever time of the year, bring those guys in. Let them meet the consumer. Let them talk about what they do because it's really interesting. The average consumer doesn't know what it takes to get strawberries out of the field in California
to the clamshell,
to a store in New York. They don't know. They just
even the backside, even just getting it from the strawberry to the packing to the clamshell, that's the backside of it. But
it's mind-boggling.
It is mind-boggling. Sure. But listen, we want to get you back on the floor.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Education was amazing.
Yes.
What do you love about Southern Innovations?
Oh gosh, there's so much.
Give me one. Hit me, baby, one more time. Come on.
I think I would have to say the people.
So you took it out of the 3 Ps. He's like, planet, produce, or people. I'm going to pick the people.
That really wasn't intentional, but yeah, it's the people.
Community is everything.
Yeah, SEPC is a family. It really is. And it's not just the council itself. It's everybody here. We're all part of one big family. We're all trying to get people to consume more fruits and vegetables, right? And we're all in this together.
I agree. Well, let's get our next guest on.
All right.
Let's have some fun, and I'll see you out there.
Thank you for having me.
You got it.
Thanks.
Here in Nashville, Tennessee, for the Southeast Produce Council Southern Innovations Conference. We're here at the Produce Industry Podcast booth, and we have a very special guest, Amanda Keefer from the Healthy Family Project.
Yes, we are here in Nashville. I'm excited to be here and chat with you today.
I'm down with the HFP.
Oh,
I hadn't
heard that one yet. I like that.
Who is on your marketing team? We need to talk to them immediately. Oh my gosh.
That's my new t-shirt.
Great to have you. We have seen each other in passing.
Yes.
We probably have eye communicated. You know, like when you have a neighbor and you're just like wave to them every once in a while, and you're like, oh, who's that? You're like, we've lived here for about 5 years. I just waved to that guy.
Exactly.
We know he lives down the street, and he drives a gray Toyota truck.
Yeah, that's us. We're the neighbors.
Glad to have you, and looking forward to hearing a little bit about one. I always say, like, what does everybody love about the Southern Innovations Conference? But first of all, the HFP.
The HFP.
Let's talk about the HFP. What's new? What's going on? Like, what can we tell the industry? I mean, it's Southern Innovations. Like, people are waiting to hear what's new out there.
Right. So, we're a cause marketing organization, so we do a lot of in-store activations at the shelf and getting
as it should be
shoppers to purchase more fruits and veggies. But as well as retail, we also work very hard in the digital space, on our website, on our socials, everywhere to really debunk, the myth that eating healthy has to be expensive or hard.
That's right.
So that's like our mission is to really educate people, and so that they don't feel like they're being educated, because I don't know that everybody loves that. No,
listen, I was just talking to Tim Graas, and we talked about education. Everybody needs to have a little education in their life. Okay. They need to. Oh, and speaking of education, we had a great education session. We're going to keep talking about it all day long, because that's what this is about. Like, Anne-Marie has the spotlight to talk about education and what's new out there. And a couple topics that came up was about health and wellness.
Yes.
And that's a big topic for your group as well. Are people buying fresh produce just because they like it? Or are they starting to buy it because they know it's good for their body? There were some questions on the board up there, and I'm like, I just buy it because I love every bit of it, and I know it's healthy. And it's like,
but that's us. We're produce people.
I know. It's like, as I said, I'm like the worst candidate to ask for one of these surveys, because I'm like, no.
Yeah, it's skewed whenever we're in the mix. So I do think that there's definitely a heightened awareness with like TikTok and all of these social medias that are, showing like, oh, look at this cool cucumber hack or whatever. And so it's like on trend.
Yeah.
And so what Anne-Marie shared today was a lot of great information, and something that really stood out was the examples she was showcasing on how to get shoppers to recognize, like, what does this grape do? Like, great, it has vitamin, blah, 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 and blah, 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 but like, how does it impact me?
Yes.
How does Amanda, like, oh, I just had blood work done. I see that I'm low in whatever. So the shoppers are going to be looking. They don't know the average shopper, and it's not their fault, but the average person doesn't know, like, oh, this has vitamin C and D and whatever.
I've heard that before. It ain't my fault. No, I'm just kidding.
You like all the rap references here.
I like that the rap references, though. Okay, like not many people know that's a South rapper too. So, it is very true. And even myself, like I did the healthy eating challenge last year for Viva Fresh.
Oh yeah.
And I also did a hike to the Dominican Republic with the Water for All group.
I saw that.
You got to do blood work for these things. You got to get your doctor to sign off. And so my blood work comes back, and my doctor's like, listen, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And then it comes around like a year later, and he goes, I don't really want to do blood work. He's like, last year was really good. And he's like, have you been eating the same? And I was like, yes, the last 2 years. He's like, yeah, it's pretty consistent. But even like the thing, like having a nutritionist and then seeing that blood work, it really makes you understand your body. And we had a gastroenterologist on our show a few months ago, and then we had her on again to talk to our community. And she talked about like your body and what you're putting in your body. And we talked about sustainability at this conference already, right? And one thing I can tell you is extending the shelf life on your body, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's like, let's use synthetic oil in our car. What about your body?
But the problem comes down to, and especially right now, the problem is cost. So shoppers have to make these decisions where they look at something and it's.
But let's debate about it. I'll debate that right now because I'd rather pay the cost up front now than have to pay the more costs when I'm 60 or 70. Because I'll tell you what, and you're gonna laugh at me, but I called yesterday I woke up at 3 a.m. completely sick to my stomach. Oh, no. My wife and I decided to have pork belly the other night. It was so good, but it was so fat and so greasy, things we normally do not eat.
Right.
And we both were in like pain. And like, we're like, are we that age that we're going to start saying, well, we can't have coffee past noon and we can't have pork belly on, at nighttime. Right. But I literally told my wife like the next day, I was like, yeah. She's like, what do you want for dinner? I was like, sides of asparagus, mushrooms, cucumbers, fried. Like, and she's like, I agree. It didn't, the repercussions, like I love the pork, but the repercussion was so bad the next day, it hurt my body. And I was like, no, I'm done. I'm like, I can't.
Well, but I think some families are faced with, this is like our budget for the week.
I know.
And then they
have a budget too.
And I'm with you, totally with you, but I know that people are stretched. So it's hard when you say like, oh, you know what? I don't really like us. We know what to do with all these things.
Sometimes.
Like shoppers are like, I don't know how to cut this. So I'm not going to buy it. I want to, but like it's easier for me to spend this limited money on something else. So that's where we come in to say we as an industry need to have scan here to get to a video that shows you how to cut the mango.
Where'd your food come from? Yeah. All the good stuff.
Like, let us help you know how to do this. And hey, let us tell you how to store it so that it lasts longer, so that you're not throwing your money in the trash. Yeah, it's like the help me help you campaign, right? Like, let us help you. Let me help you, because if you do it, it's better, right? Yeah. What's funny is I always like, and it's a habit, my wife does it. She puts the oranges in the fridge. You don't put oranges back in the fridge once you buy them from the grocery store. And people are always like, it's debatable. I'm like, no. Oranges are stored between 38 and 42 degrees. Your fridge is not 38 to 42 degrees. No. It's never going to be. And then they hit the store shelves, right, at 72 degrees, right? Or if you're in Florida, right? Like me, like, your room temperature. And then you bring it home. And I was like, what's going to happen is like, you're going to make those oranges not as sweet. They're going to get colder because now you're breaking the cold chain, putting it back in. But even stuff like that, my wife, I'm a citrus guy. And she's like, and you're just telling me this now? I've been with you for 23 years. Like, and it's the tomatoes too.
Right. The same thing, but you're breaking a cold chain on things that need to stay in the cold chain. That's why they'll be in the cold chain section. So, I think that having that education is key, when you're talking about your body, when you're talking about, the physical part of your body, right? Inside and out. And then that also is mental part of your body. The mental clarity by having good food in your body provides you with great mental fitness as well. Yeah.
And I think that there's such a buzz around, like recovery foods for student athletes, for people that are into, whatever they're into, CrossFit or whatever, these recovery foods. So I think that there's just all of these buzzwords that are out there that, obviously fruits and vegetables pretty much cover off on like all the things, all the health ailments. So I think if we can like pushing that message and say, this is going to give you clear, like brain power, whatever it is. Then they're like, oh, not a pill. Yeah.
Something that's grown and fresh, right? Here it is, everybody. All right, Amanda, I want to get you back out on the floor. Yeah. Let's get our next guest on. I appreciate you Thank you stopping so much. By.
We're not neighbors anymore. We're friends.
We can actually not wave to each other. We'd be like, hey, great to see you. Not like one wave, take your trash can in and get out of there. All right, everyone, we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Southern Innovations here in Nashville, and I get to sit with the one and only Kim Chackal of Equifruit, and I love getting to be around the only banana you should buy. I love just being with you, Kim. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
In person.
Thank you.
This is what I'd rather have all the time. An in-person show talking about the fun things in our industry. And welcome.
Thank you.
Because you have not been to this show.
I've never been to
We got
any
a newbie.
SCPC.
We've got a newbie.
Yeah, brand new.
I like it.
Yeah.
How
right
are
off
you-
the boat.
How are you- Legitimately, right off the boat.
Yeah.
Now, but this conference is about innovation.
Mm-hmm.
Were you in the education sessions this morning?
I was, yes.
I love Anne-Marie. She does a great job.
Yeah.
I love the fact that we're always looking of what's new, what's next, and your company has been doing that for a little while though now.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And you're talking about fair trade domination, right? But you haven't been just talking about it in the last 6 months. This is years and years, and now you're here, and let's talk about what's new.
Yeah. What's new is we've leveled up our swag game.
I've seen.
Okay, for those banana badasses out there who know Equifruit and are following us, and you have a t-shirt or you have a hat or whatever you have, we're taking it to the next level. So first, we've printed our own money, right? This campaign around SEPC is innovation around paying farmers fairly, about banana farmers in particular.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is quite innovative because for, let's say, 125 years, give or take 20 years, bananas have been coming into North America and moved around globally at a price that doesn't reflect the cost of sustainable production. There's just been this choice to squeeze that price down onto farmers, keep it low at retail, and it just doesn't make sense anymore. We're 2024.
Yeah.
We heard from Anne-Marie this morning all about how younger consumers, they're focused on convenience. They're thinking about where their food comes from. They're thinking about sustainability, especially. We see that across segments, but especially younger people. So as a retailer, if you want to be preparing for tomorrow's consumer and even today's consumer and how they're adapting, how they're evolving, how they're willing to spend a little bit more, we figure it costs about $5 more per year to support Equifruit fair trade bananas at retail, which is nothing. So we're all about making it rain for banana farmers.
Yeah, we're gonna check out the booth just a little bit. There's a money booth over there. We're gonna get the head cam on. We're gonna see what we can do over there. And I agree. And with inflation hitting everybody's pocketbook, that's one of the things that you do have to innovate on. You got to think about. And yes, you are spending more, but then also leads into the sustainability aspect. We all have to kind of make a choice of where we're going to spend our money, and we all do, right? I mean, our kids have an influence on that.
Oh yeah.
Our spouses have an influence on that, and then sometimes ourselves, right? When we get to finally think about ourselves and go, you know what, I do want this, right? Hey, which very, very, I would say, seldomly happens. But you have to think about that planet, people, and then obviously, produce too, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be so complicated. What we did as a team was we sat down and we just had this fun brainstorming session. We said, okay, what are some things that you spend about $5 on roughly that are just total impulse purchases or totally,
storage for your iPhone?
Oh, right. Like there are so many things that we're spending
Oh my
on.
gosh.
So we talked about and then we incorporated that into our email sign out. So mine says I spend more on breath mints, than it would cost to switch to
right. Yeah,
it's
probably true. And you probably spend more money on breath mints or gum or things like that.
Bacon flavored lip balm. That was the one that came
Mine
up.
would be Time magazines. I buy Time magazines and Life magazines based on the covers.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm like, hey, ready? And then I won't open them.
Oh, for sure.
I just buy it for the cover and I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, you're right. You're so right.
If you walk into a Sephora these days and you see all the things that you could do to fix your face or make your face better, I mean, you would spend more on eyebrow gel, on tweezers, on I don't know what. There's so many options out there. And so we're just trying to contextualize it because sometimes you hear sustainability and improving distribution of value across the supply chain and it's overwhelming. So we just wanted to break it down here and just show you how easy it is to improve the banana industry.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, listen, Kim, I want to get you back to your booth.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun stuff. We've got some surprises for your Crocs.
Yes.
We won't give it out yet too quick, but you know what you could put on your Crocs.
Oh, yeah.
We've got some cool, fun new stickers.
Yes.
The swag game has leveled up. But again, being here for the first time, what do you want to let the Southern Innovations and SEPC community know about about the badass banana brand that you rep.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are looking at us like, oh, what's up with the yellow Crocs? They're seeing the banana badass. They're feeling this energy. We just want to let you all know that we're here, that we've been growing in Canada for almost 20 years now. For 3 years in a row now, we've been one of Canada's top growing companies. So we're legit. We've got a high Blue Book score, and we're here to take over your banana category and bring it into the 21st century.
I like it. Hey, listen, and that's what it's about. It's about change, right? And change is a good thing. So, Kim, let's get you back to your booth. And everyone, let's have our next guest on, have a little bit of fun, and have a little bit of produce. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Produce Industry Podcast here in Nashville, Tennessee, SEPC Southern Innovations. I'm Mike Roberts, and with me today is my good friend Gary Baker.
Hello. Well, it's great to be here, Mike. It's great to have an opportunity to talk a little bit about what's going on with the show.
Yeah, I think, one of the things we wanted to talk about today, Gary, was merchandising. And, we had a great What's New Innovation Theater today, and Anne-Marie Rornick was there, and she taught us a lot today. I think she was very educational, and there were some great points out there today.
Yeah, but she actually a couple of great points, and she had 4 little division efforts that she talked about. But one of them that I really enjoy hearing about is creating event selling around certain holidays. So she gave the example of, say, like sweet potatoes, the major holidays that we sell them, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then a little bit for Easter. But she brought out how great it would be to grow the commodity to come up with an event selling process throughout the year or another time just to grow that particular commodity.
Yeah, one of the things I took out of it too was the creating holidays or creating events within the store. Exactly. And so our sweet potatoes just for a couple of holidays, or can you make them a bigger event out of them more times in a year? And I thought that was really insightful. Because to me sometimes your displays within the store can be a holiday or a destination point. It can be a promotion.
Exactly. So, like with any promotion, with produce merchandising, it's really a lot of times it's about the look or the display itself, because, produce in general is an impulse sale. So definitely it's all about the merchandising.
I think, take another thing I took away, and Gary, me and you have been around for a little while and been through a lot of things, and I don't know if the COVID took away from presentation and displays, but, I think it's something that I know early in my career, it was always about the display. And that was the funnest part of the job.
It is.
And have we lost that? And do we need to get back to that?
Exactly. I 100% agree with that, because that's definitely the piece that I missed as well, is working in the store, using your hands, and then, stepping back once the display is built and said, I did that.
Yeah. So, one of the funniest things I used to say was, because I love building displays and I love having destination points. It was ingrained in my head when I was younger in the stores, and I always used to say you have to mow the grass before you can play in the flower beds. And so it was always like it was a hurry to get the department up so you could go have fun and create those destination points. And that was, to me, I would work harder so I could be the guy that got to go do that. It was a lot of fun. So
I really enjoyed it. Another thing that Anne-Marie brought up too was just the use of social media and how important that could be now in the use of merchandising and in-store growth as far as sales. Really getting out in front of that, and also maybe creating something within your company that you can put out there on TikTok or any other forms of social media. So that social media is really exploding with just these what do you call them? Those promoters that do stuff online.
Yeah, the influencers.
That's it. Exactly what it is.
Yeah. So do you do that as far as can you incorporate that into merchandising, right? Because the Jolly Rancher guy with the grapes, it's amazing.
Phenomenal.
I never thought of that.
Me either.
But can you create that yourself? I don't know, or you just follow it. I don't know how you do that yet, but it's if you can tie that together with a Jolly Rancher and a grape display. I mean, the possibilities are endless, right?
Endless. You just come up and create something, and then it explode, and then you can actually see. She gave the example with the grapes, the explosion. What is it, about 20-something% just from this TikTok video? It's insane.
That with the cucumber guy, right? And I hadn't even seen that one until today, and that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So, I saw a weird one yesterday too of a pizza company where they did this. They dressed a guy up with a QR code.
Wow.
And if you could scan the QR code, you got a free pizza. but he ran around like you, so you couldn't do
You
it.
couldn't get at him to scan it.
And so he's like, well, I mean, at the end of the day, they might give away a free pizza or two, but nobody will forget trying to chase the guy down.
So probably was an interesting situation then.
Yeah. So I mean, can we create that as far as merchandising? You know, I mean, I think merchandising today maybe is bigger than just a promotion. You know, is it? You know, do you tie instead of just a paper ad? You know, is it a whole? Does it encompass everything all across the deal?
Mm-hmm. So, what do you say, Mike? If we get back up on the show floor and look at some of the great products and items that vendors have today?
Man, there's a lot of great people out there and a lot of great friends of both ours, and look forward to get back out there and seeing them.
All right, let's go.
The crowds are going wild. You can hear it in the background. People are commencing in conversation, probably a little bit of business, but most of all, they are back with the relationships that they have in the produce and supply chain industry. And we are talking to a great set of guests today here at the Produce Industry Podcast booth. Southeast Produce Council's Southern Innovations here in Nashville, Tennessee. I have first-time guest here of the Produce Industry Podcast, Harold Paivarinta of Red Sun Farms. I don't wear my glasses as much as I should when I'm podcasting, and like normally I can read this stuff, Harold, and everything's blurry at this point.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
Which is fine. But hey, appreciate you being here.
No, thanks for having me.
You're a big part of SCPC.
Yeah, I've been involved since day one. I was at the very first show in Lakeland, Florida.
Wow.
Yeah, I was chairman, and I worked my way through the board. I was chairman in 2020, the COVID chair, of course, so I got that dubious recognition. But no, it's a great industry or a great association to be working with and partnering with for years. And it's really reciprocal. They've given me and my family just as much as I put into them.
That's awesome. So my first SCPC was 2020.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. February.
wow.
It was like, remember, it was like February 28th. It was like the last day of February.
Yeah.
And I remember because there was two conferences that I went to. One in February, which was yours. The following week was Podfest in March, like it was March 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
And then legitimately March 17th.
It all ended. Yeah.
Right? Like, and then the podcast started April 1st, 2020.
Oh, wow.
That's so crazy as it
kidding.
is. So 4 years later. But today we had an amazing education session about what's new.
Yes.
Anne Marie is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And as we've been talking throughout this podcast, it's about, what we love about, the innovations, about the conference. But let's talk about dollars and cents, though, because impacting the pocketbooks, right? There's inflation. There's so much stuff going on with today's economy, with your pocketbook, with my pocketbook, right? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Absolutely. It's never really been more expensive to live nowadays. The cost of insurance, mortgage rates, interest rates, unemployment. There's a lot of environmental things people have to navigate. And as consumers, you have to make decisions. What do I feed my family with? How do I make that dollar stretch as far as it can? So, during these tough times, and fresh produce never does well during inflationary periods. People retreat to canned, they retreat to frozen because that stuff never goes bad.
Right.
So you see a lot of retreatment out of fresh, but again, we're taking great strides, especially in the last year or so, while the economy's been the way it's been, to really add value back in. Get more aggressive on promotions. Retailers and the growership community have really partnered together to kind of boost consumption, and we're starting to see that trend it's bottomed out and it's starting to recover again now.
I was talking to a couple growers the other day, and we were talking about just like prices and where they compare to previous years, like going back almost a decade compared to now. And at some aspects, we are selling almost at the same prices, right? There are. I mean, you really are. If you're a grower, you know this because we all talk about this. But again, I think that what you said was kind of on point, which is the growers and the buyers are working together to figure out how to make it work together. No difference than, we were filling out an RFP over the summer and they came back to us and they talked about the price, right? And sometimes you would never see that happen. You would never know if you were 50 cents off, $1 off, but now they're coming back saying, this is where the budget needs to be. This is what we're thinking. We just want to come back to you. Is this something that you guys can, participate in, right? So it's on both sides of the coin.
Yeah, never before have we seen this level of collaboration.
I like that.
If you are, increasing the price, they want to know why.
Yeah.
Retailers are visiting farms more often. They're getting more involved.
They should.
And no, absolutely. And really to make it work, a lot of requests come across is why. and then we have to back it up. And then they're doing more and more research, more and more homework, because nobody likes to raise prices.
No.
Right? I'm not doing this, but as you said, FOBs haven't moved that much in the last 10, 15 years. And a lot of that goes to really the innovation that's come into the space, the efficiencies, what we've been working through, technologies. That's enabled us to kind of keep FOBs fairly flat. But now with labor cost increases, the packaging demands, everything's related to fuel to some extent. But these are things that you're encountering that we have to encounter as well, and we have to pass on.
We're all encountering it. I mean, even our personal lives, like even as crazy as like I have 3 kids, and my kids are still 12, 9, and 3. But my 12-year-old was in daycare, 12 years ago, right? Like in year after year 1, and I just remember it was like, I don't know, like it was a crazy like $70 a day or something like that, or maybe even. I mean, if you found the home daycares, those were like $25 a day, and now I'm talking $295 a week. Like, right, you're talking $1,600 a month. Like, I get the teacher discount because my wife's a teacher in Hillsborough County, so I get the discount. But if you're not, you're paying $315 a week for daycare for 5 days, and you're paying almost $20,000 a year in daycare costs year round.
Yeah, no, it's unbelievable. Again, being Canadian, and we're fortunate enough to be Canadian, a law was just passed a couple of years ago. It's $20 a day daycare now.
See?
So now, but we're lined up to get the daycare, but it does exist.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, again, because how does that allow families to move forward? We're talking about dollars and cents here, because that's one of the issues that we're facing. That they always say like the mother, right? Like I always say, like, wipe gender out of it, right? Because if you are a mother, if you are a father, someone's having to work 2 jobs. Absolutely. Regardless if it's the mother, regardless if it's the father. Like, it sucks either way to have to do that. And you shouldn't have to say, all I do is work to pay my child care, right? You should be able to have, I always say, like, the something to show for is being able to pay your mortgage, pay your rent, pay your electric, pay your water, and be able to, I would say citizens, right? Of your country. Okay. But when you got to start working 3 jobs just to pay your rent and your electric and your water and $20,000 in daycare costs so you can go to work, I'm not getting that fact where it's like, oh, that's not fair. But what it's saying is it's going back to what the education that we're talking about, right? It's going back to those dollars and cents, and what are we going to spend our money on? How are we going to spend our money on? Because we have to now look at this and go, well, in my family, maybe we can't buy this watermelon juice or this asparagus or some of that because of this reason, right, Harold? Yeah,
absolutely. And that's what we see in shopper patterns probably emerge in the last 18 months or so. Consumers are really buying what they need, not what they want.
Yeah,
what
100%.
So necessities, and it gets us, and everybody in this industry gets to hit reset, because you truly are seeing what people are willing to spend on something and what they're not.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to pack styles, pack sizes. We see a lot of smaller sizes being sold now rather than a big club pack, because not only does it cost more, there's a higher potential for waste.
Food waste.
Yeah, absolutely. And food waste, a lot of that volume is kind of turned down in that conversation, because the way that consumers are behaving today, there isn't a lot of food waste now, because if they're buying something, they're buying it with intent of using it. Where times are a little bit better, money's a little bit more free, they'll buy it and not feel so bad about throwing it away. Now they can afford to throw it away. So
well, I also think that, a lot of consumers don't know what to do with their produce. So again, like when I never get mad when my bananas go overripe on the counter. I never go mad if I have a soggy apple. I never do, because I'll make a dessert out of it. Yeah. Like I always I'll look at my wife and I'll be like, we should make apple fritters. And she's like, why? I'm like, I found 3 bad apples. And she's like, we're not going to use all the apples for that. I'm like, are you sure? I'm like, we can do this. And then go get a brand new bag of apples, because my son goes through, I'm telling you, 8 to 12 pounds of apples a week. My daughter will eat a 3-pound bag of mandarin a week. But again, Anne Marie and I talked about this too. We set our lifestyles up that way. So when we make our kids lunches in the morning, that's what we're putting in. Like when I remember Gary Wisnaski of Wish Farms told me this one time when I went to visit him. He's like, every morning I pop those blueberries in, right? He starts talking about this. I'm like, that's my 3-year-old. By the time she was a baby, but from being a baby, we were constantly giving her the things that we know and love, right, Harold?
Absolutely.
My daughter won't eat oatmeal, right? But she'll eat yellow and orange peppers with ranch cut up. But she's like, ew, oatmeal. And some people are like, what are you talking about? Like oatmeal is like, that's what I have for breakfast with yogurt, this. But her, no, it's like, it's a texture thing with her, right?
Oh, really?
But she'll go for those peppers with ranch.
Nice.
Right?
Nice.
Like you can't beat that. But guess what? That's like ever since she was 2 years old. Those were her little snacks we'd have her numb on and stuff like that. So I think it's a lifestyle too.
No, absolutely. And we see that coming out of the pandemic. People really took note on how they were eating and what their habits were like, and they started to change them. And again, with the restaurant restrictions and whatnot, people started to, they were forced to cook back at home. And now that money's tight, they're recreating those restaurant experiences at home.
We should. Do you remember? You have to, because we've been, listen, I've been a part of the education committee now with you for 3 years now. And I just remember going back and talking about, I don't remember the comments, but we were talking about like all of us eating out. Remember the percentage of eating out went up so much because we wanted kind of that delicacy because of COVID. We weren't allowed to. And like, it's completely starting to change, but it's so true. Again, when you and your wife or you and your spouse look at each other and go, what do you want to cook for dinner tonight? And, we did HelloFresh for a while, and it's like, oh, do you remember that, like, stir fry that we did? And she's like, perfect. I'll grab carrots. I'll grab asparagus. I'll grab, cucumbers. And I'm like, awesome. Let's try that.
Absolutely. And then that exploration's happening more and more and more. And that's something that we like to, again, nothing against food service and restaurants.
No, we love you. We love you.
Absolutely.
But you know who I love more? My wife.
Yeah.
And you know what the crazy experience I get now, which was hard during certain times of after the pandemic, which was what? You were eating out.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things people say, they're like, oh man, cooking is so stressful. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because if you have the right environment, I enjoy cooking with my wife. I'll tell her, what do you got here? She doesn't tell me to get out of the way. I'm like, what project am I on? What are you doing? Let's compliment it. Hey, you cut this. And then what happens? My 3-year-old, can I help? Yeah. Now we got her with the butter knife.
Absolutely. You're not just sitting at a table waiting for the food to come.
No.
You're actually preparing it together. And again, it really feeds into a much more beneficial environment.
Family.
I think when you're working together. Absolutely.
Right. And again, that's what this is about, because then, right, it's not what's for dinner. When's dinner ready? It's what can I do to help?
Absolutely.
And then you get more excited about dinner. So before we get you back on the floor, you've been a part of this organization since the beginning.
Yes.
What do you love about this conference?
I just think it's the overall good that we do. I think, a lot of shows, a lot of, again, I'm not going to talk smack about anybody, but this one, you're here for we, not me. And it's that's togetherness that we experience on the show floor through the different events that we have. We just came from a great men's event where we actually created buckets of toiletries and stuff that go to homeless shelters.
That's
men.
awesome.
And this really gives back, and there's meaning to it. And I think it's not, again, we're a great selling show as well. And so business does get done, but there's time to really get involved in the community, get involved for the greater good of the industry.
I agree.
So that's really what I like, and really what's special about it. It just truly feels like family.
I love it. I love it. Everyone right here in Nashville, Tennessee, Southeast Produce Council's Southern Innovations Showcase. I'd love seeing all the people, the community, as we said in our education, produce, planet, and people. We'll be right back with our last interview for the day, and then we will get a recap for you, everyone. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, in Nashville, Tennessee. We are at SEPC's Southern Innovations Conference. I've been able to speak to a lot of subject matter experts, a lot of great people, I would say dynamic people in a dynamic industry. And we are on to our last guest of the day, because why? I want to get out and walk the show. I want to get to the banana booth, right, where I'm going to catch $5 bills. There's a lot of stuff going on. Listen, I know there's eggplant out there. There's some of my September produce picks that I want to see as well, instead of being locked up in this booth. But guess what? I have my man. Again, I've known him for over a decade. Jose Roggiero of Fresh Way Produce.
What's up?
What's happening, my friend?
Good, brother. Good to be here.
I always say I love being in person with people. And listen, Jose hasn't gotten back to my email. I emailed him, was like, hey, listen, I really want to have you at the podcast studio. And you haven't responded to me. But don't you love being in person? Like, it's just so much better.
This is amazing. And I just wanted to start by saying thank you for having me today. It's great to be at Southern Innovations, correct? Like great to be at this spot and be able to finally get together and have a good conversation.
It's a good spot too. We're at the Gaylord Opryland It seems to be the longest walk to your hotel room. But guess what? I'm getting in my steps because I'm going with our
10K,
buddy,
brother. 10K
Albert
steps.
Perez,
Okay.
the Water for All hike.
Yes.
So me, I'm like, hey, I'm trying to walk like 3-4 miles a day in this hotel right now. Like I'm trying to get my steps in, man. I'm trying to get trained. So like, hey, and we're produce people, right?
Indeed.
This is our lifestyle. Health and wellness all day, baby.
Being always in the move.
I know. You gotta have strong calves in this industry, everyone, to stand all day. John Pandel has like thick foam on all of his booths, and it's great, right? Like we all get to come here and have conversations with the people that we know in this industry. You know what I mean?
So, what has been the thing that catch the most of your attention today?
Today, I would say, I haven't walked this show as much.
Okay,
but that's why I'm going to be walking the show here pretty shortly. And when I come to the innovation show, I'll tell you what I'm most looking forward to.
What?
Whether it's new packaging,
yes,
right, new products, like even these grapes right here from Sunview, I learned that like it's a special variety, right? I looked at that, I was like, is that a red globe? What is that? I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
So what? John Pandel was like, let me check it out. Oh nope, that's this variety. Okay, that's a new variety. Never even heard of it.
No kidding.
California grape variety that I've never even heard of right here.
But that's what it's all about at this event.
Yeah.
Like new things. Like for example, like a lot of people have come to our booth and has tried rambutan.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that like people ask me like, so how do I eat it?
What am I supposed to do?
Yes.
Where do I put my hands?
Do I swallow everything? Like it's like, so explaining them the process of eating this fruit, this exotic fruit has been super fun.
What did we do last year at Innovation? Did you have me try remember it was the
you tried mangosteen.
Mangosteen.
Yes.
That was crazy.
And
I was like, what do I do with this?
It did intimidate you.
It intimidated the heck out of me. I'm not gonna lie to you. It intimidated the heck out of me. I didn't know what to do with it. But you brought a couple products today.
Yes, like we brought some guava.
Okay.
We also brought the
guava.
Yes. Have you seen how nice it smells?
No.
Oh, please.
I don't have smell-o-vision. You got to get this thing up in my nostrils, man. What are we talking about here?
Smell
Hold on. Let's open this.
The aroma is something.
Wow.
Imagine,
right when right before you even open the packaging, you can smell it. Wow.
And imagine putting that on a green juice, on a smoothie.
How are they supposed to feel? There are some are they supposed to be hard? Are they supposed to be soft? Like
they're gonna for example, whenever they start ripening, they start changing in color. It turned into more yellow.
Okay.
With some brown spots, and that means that it's ready for it. So, and you just like cut the top, and
I don't know. Should I try one?
Why not?
Why not?
Like this is a ritual. We do try. Like, hand me one.
Okay.
The most yellow one.
Like,
that's good.
Okay.
So.
It says I like that you put directions on the back of this too. I've always told you that the directions on the back helps you understand what's going on.
So if it's very sweet, like for example, if it's soft, yes. So just take a bite. There's a lot of seeds, so don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid of a guava has a lot of.
You gotta do it. Okay.
Wow.
Patrick Kelly and his first guava. Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Kelly.
I have to move the seeds to like one side of my mouth because I have a bridge on this side.
Bro,
so I can't
but just swallow them. Don't overeat them. Though. Just bite it and boom.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. It's almost like a banana. You got to eat it like a banana. You can't chew the banana till it's liquid. You got to just keep going with it. You got to swallow it.
You got to keep going.
Well,
and imagine
one of the drinks I have.
Yes.
This guava drink that I have, I mean, this is like matching resemblance of the smell and the taste.
Yes, sir.
Both together. You have smell-o-vision, everyone. You can smell the guava.
Mm-hmm.
Those little like in my teeth.
Yes.
What's up with that?
But Pat, just think about like.
I'm like, what's up with that? Hold on, we're gonna wash it down with some guava lemonade. So.
Yes, you just have to blend it, eat it, like have it with some banana. Imagine these with bananas.
Wow.
Like right there, you feel that you're in the tropics.
I feel like, I feel something. I feel like,
You feel something.
I feel something.
Come on.
Like I can feel that tingliness. It was good. I will tell you this. This is why the seeds. But you know what? The seeds also got me in dragon. Remember the yellow dragon fruit?
Yes.
I was confused at first with yellow dragon fruit because the seeds were bigger,
Yes.
right? But same thing. Once you get past certain aspects of it,
Indeed.
you're fine. It's just
Yes.
that.
But
I
this
don't
is
think
the
I've ever
beauty
taken a
of
bite
trying
that.
new fruits.
I don't think I've ever tried a guava like that before.
Dude,
I tried passion fruit just the other year too. That was a first timer for me too. That
Yes.
has a lot of seeds in it too.
as well.
Seeds are okay. It's okay.
Yes.
I will take it. I ate it. What
Well,
else do we have?
So we got rambutan as well. And
Oh, you know what? I saw some of these at Walmart. Your brand at Walmart the other day.
yes.
How the heck do I open one of these if I'm on the go?
Okay.
Like, look at this. This is like a little furry guy. I've tried these many times before. Not once did I say to myself, you know what? Let's grab one of those items from Jumanji and stick it in our mouth. Okay.
Okay.
But you know what? I'm going to with you. Okay.
Mhm.
Like,
My kids,
what do you do?
My kids, whenever we do any road trips, they get a clamshell of rambutan.
Are you serious?
Yes,
You're taking this in the car. You're
Yes,
taking
sir.
this in the car.
Yes, and very simple. So just
Okay.
Like,
Right.
use your finger.
Okay.
Look,
I'm using my finger.
crack open it.
Yeah. You gotta.
Look.
Oh yeah. This is the. Oh yeah. I remember.
Yes.
I remember this.
And then
What's up with the furries?
remember that there's
A nut.
seed.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a nut inside.
How big is it? Like the size of an almond?
Yes,
So do you pop this whole thing in your mouth, or you just eat it around it?
you eat around it. Don't be afraid.
We're interesting. I don't feel this. See, this is horrible. No.
Mhm.
The flavor
It's
is
there.
exceptional.
It's exceptional.
Okay. But I gotta like. You really have to eat around a seed.
So this variety,
Where is this mystery seed?
yep,
Just.
it's inside. So this variety, the
I'm gonna swallow the seed, everyone. This is so bad. So the seed's good though. If you swallow the seed, are you good? All right, you're not gonna grow a rant like this is gonna.
No.
Everybody.
In fact, I eat the seed. I normally eat it because it tastes like an apple.
All right, got it. All right, best I can do. I did get it out. You ate the seed.
Hey,
You do. Ate the seed.
you're
But I will
talking
tell
to.
The dragon fruit expert, everyone.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And, an exotic fruit lover.
I mean, listen, that flavor is God. I feel bad saying it. I like that flavor better than the guava.
Yeah, they're completely different.
That
correct?
is like a true, like tropical delight.
Yes,
Right.
but I mean, there's some exotic fruits that they're better if you
Got it.
blend them with other fruits. Like for example,
Guava's got to be paired with something else.
guava, you pair it with pineapple.
Right? Or lemonade.
You pair it with a
lemons.
lemonade.
Yeah,
you pair it
you're
with
right. You're
with
100%
bananas. Okay. Then if you say yellow dragon fruit, you pair it with a fruit that perhaps doesn't have too much flavor.
Or even melons. You can pair pair
Yes.
dragon fruit with melons too.
With a
which is-
honeydew.
Yeah.
Yeah, with
Like
a
a
cantaloupe.
sugar kiss or something like that. Yeah. I agree with you.
Indeed. So that's the beauty of these fruits because like you can enjoy it on its own, but they do taste amazing.
They're amazing.
Yeah, when they're
It's
paired
always,
up.
but it's always crazy because you see the outside, and that's what's crazy when we talk about like what's new. When you see the outside, and I've tried this many times, but I still don't buy it because I still don't know how to buy it either.
Yeah.
So it's interesting when I saw these at Walmart the other day. They were yours,
Yeah.
and I was kind of like, should I buy these? I can tell you, I probably would have had to text you and ask you how to open these again.
Yes,
Right?
But like they're
I'd have
so
been
easy to
scared.
travel with
I'd have
them.
been so scared.
Oh, come on. No
Oh.
scare. During Halloween,
I think Ty would love these.
during Halloween, we promote them as a scary fruit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen.
We
this is
promote them
something
as
to
a scary
promote.
fruit.
Like, listen, I
Yeah,
love it.
if you stop by our booth, you'll see that.
You'll see it.
You'll see a clamshell with
Some
Halloween
spooky
theme.
Halloween themed. I love it.
Yes.
Well, Jose, let's get out there because I want to go check out some more booths.
Let's do
But
that.
tell me, and you've been a board member now for a couple of years,
Yes, sir.
and we've worked together for a while now. What do you love about Southern Innovations?
The people.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it.
The people.
The people,
Like,
the
it's just
community.
I know this may sound like cliche, but it truly feels like a family.
Yes,
in
it
some
is.
way, shape, or fashion. Like you see all the time familiar faces, like, and it's so nice how we all get together and exchange ideas, and we all are all about the console, correct?
Yeah, moving things forward.
Yes. So I really like that. The other thing that I'm enjoying a lot is to see that this event is growing. Every year it's more popular. We got more retailers coming. We got more exhibitors.
Yeah.
So it's great. And I also want to say that it is amazing to be here at the podcast, at the show, because we all get the chance to say one little thing that we love about it.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
So your platform really help us to spread how we feel about it. And why not to say spread the love of this event.
Spread the love of the event. Again, people that's one thing that I pride myself on is the community that we have here. And the more collaboration, the more things we do together as a team, whether you're a competitor, right? Whether you're a vendor, a customer, a client, all throughout the supply chain, the goal is to work together. And you got to find a way how. You got to find out how to do that. Yeah. So, Jose, thank you so much. We're going to get this episode wrapped up, man. No, it's an honor to have you. He's sitting here because, again, you've always been there for me for the show, guiding on, some things on what to do, where to do it, what we can do together. And I think that's what it's about. Is like you just said, this is what we do, but that's also what happens out there as well.
It's a partnership, brother, and we would love to keep growing it.
Let's do it. All right, everyone. We are going to get back out to the showroom floor. We're going to Jose back to the booth. I'm going to start walking around, and then we are going to finish our recap of Southeast Produce Council's Southern Innovations here in Nashville. And we have plenty of stuff to do, from the Opryland tour to golf, to clay shooting, and more, as long as the weather provides.
Amazing.
Right? So we'll see you out there soon, and in the fields and on the horizon.
Thank you, Pat.